Hey folks, my name is Jeff Jones and I want to show you how to make refried beans. Now if you look around on the internet or on YouTube for recipes for refried beans, they always show people just making beans and then mashing them up or pulverizing them somehow to make refried beans with various flavors added to them. But that's not how authentic refried beans are made. Authentic refried beans are cooked in the pot a day ahead and they're whole beans cold when you start to make the refried beans. Then they are fried in lard, lots of lard, and they are fried until they develop a toasty flavor before they ultimately become refried beans. And it's that toasty flavor we want, and that's not what you get from just mashing up cooked beans. So, to avoid the lard, I've come up with a way of making refried beans in less oil and without worrying about burning them, because that's the trick. A Mexican restaurant cook told me the trick to refried beans is to almost burn them, but don't burn them. So I've come up with this method, and my family and friends think these beans are delicious, and I hope that you find that they're delicious too. So first, cook your beans. You can get them out of a can as well, but I like to cook them myself. And these are about half black beans and half pinto beans that were cooked yesterday in a crock pot. And they're whole beans, as you can see. They're holding together nicely, and they're cold. They don't have to be really cold, these just happen to be out of the refrigerator. So once you get your beans in this shape, for my method, you then need to get them dried out and get as much liquid off of them as possible. So what I do is I put them in a salad spinner and run a little water on them to get any extra bean juice off. I've saved some of the other bean juice for the final step of the process, but I give them a little bit of a rinse to get some of the bean juice off, because that's going to make it difficult to deal with them. And then you just put the lid on the salad spinner, give it a spin, and spin off a little bit of the water, so they're a little bit drier when you're dealing with them. You can't spin them too fast or they fly out of the salad spinner and jam things up. So then I'm going to take the bowl that I had them in, give it a rinse, a real quick rinse, to get some of that goopy stuff out. Get a paper towel and kind of dry it off inside so it's basically dry. And then we're going to set that there, get our beans out of the salad spinner. Now they're a little bit drier than they were before, and we put them in that bowl. And then what we do is take some fat. Now, I'm not using lard, I'm just going to use a little bit of bacon grease that I save in a jar. And let me get on the other side of this. And then you just put about, I don't know, a tablespoon of bacon grease in there, which is far less than you could ever make refried beans with if you were making them traditional way. And then I just give them a stir. And, well, there goes some on the floor. And I just try to work them around until I know that all the beans are coated, almost like you were making a bean salad, and they've all got some fat on them. And then, here's the trick to the method. Just pour them on a cookie sheet. I put foil on to make the cleanup and dealing with it easier. And spread them out on that sheet so they're kind of in a layer. And then, there we go, pop them under the broiler. You're going to broil them until the skins start to peel off of them and start to toast. And it'll smell almost a little bit like popcorn when they're getting ready. And you just let them go until they're kind of coming apart and sizzling and kind of toasty. So we'll come back to it then. Okay folks, it's been about 5 minutes and they've been under the broiler. You can see they're still kind of wet and they're not sizzling, the skins aren't peeling, so these need a little more time. When they're ready, when you shake them around, they'll all slide around like individual beans. So in for another 5, I think, but you got to keep track of them.
And I want to sleep with you in the desert tonight, with a billion stars.
Almost 15 minutes, which is longer than this would normally take, but I cook more beans than I normally would cook. And so as you can see, let's get them out here under the good light. As you can see, they're toasty, and the skins are starting to peel off of them. They're starting to open up almost like popcorn. And they smell toasty. Not burnt, but definitely toasty. You can tell that the broiler's had its effect. And here,
And I found out a long time ago what a woman can do to your soul. Oh, but she can't take
hot water. And we're going to boil these for a while. Oh, 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, folks, well, it's been boiling for about 10 minutes. And as you can see, it's steaming away, and it's pretty thin, and it needs to be thin for you to pulverize these beans now. Now, if you don't have one of these immersion blenders, you could use a potato masher, and I've done it many times, but it's easier for me with the immersion blender. So I just stick it in the beans and run them until they're about the consistency I want. They smell toasty even though they're boiling. You can still smell the toastiness of them, which is what you want with refried beans. That's what makes good refried beans, is that toastiness. Almost burnt, but not burnt. So that's probably good. And then you just let it cook down until they're the thickness that you want. But as you can see, even now they're thick. You can see that they're sticking, and they'll just get stickier as you go. And this is a way to make refried beans with very little oil, with a great toasty flavor. You will have to add some salt or seasoning because these don't have any salt in them, but you can put that in anytime you want. And so I hope you enjoy the beans.